Okay, guys, I got another jam-packed video today. We're gonna get into the Fed raising interest rates, arrogant people, arrogant commissioners at the SEC bragging about the SEC's victory rate and why that's just a waste of time. Ripple hiring 300 employees and a lot more. But first, I want to start with this article out of the New York Post. I believe it's out of the New York Post. It's related to real estate. It says, for the first time ever, Manhattan's average rent surpasses $5,000 a month. That figure marks a 1.7% month-over-month climb from the $4,975 average rent recorded in May. It's mind-boggling to even wrap your head around that. For the people who might hear this, who I'm just gonna give a quick background on myself. I grew up in New York. I grew up in Queens. It was back in 2018. We got priced out of New York, couldn't afford it anymore. So I was still living with my parents. We had moved from Queens to Newark, New Jersey, and as of last year, I moved down south by myself. So I've been living in North Carolina ever since. North Carolina is having a price problem too, as far as like the cost of rent out here. That's a whole nother issue as well. And to me, it seems like there's an affordability crisis that's developing, and not even developing. It's already here. When you look around, it's already here. And that leads me into like the next story that I want to get into, and this is being reported from CBS Colorado, where there's a growing number of people leaving the state of Colorado, and like the data they use to point to that is that the number of outbound moves from the company U-Haul is going up. The number of the gap is narrowing for the number of people moving in and out through the company Allied and through United Van lines. There's a growing number of change directions. And I also want to play a quick clip from that with somebody who is actually in Colorado. I'm not in Colorado, so I just wanted to play a quick clip of them talking on it real quick.
In 2022 so far, we have seen Colorado shift from an inbound state to more of an outbound move state. It's jumped up to 18th on our list.
Yeah, so so whether it's Colorado, whether it's Hawaii, whether it's New York, even to a degree in North Carolina, like there's a clear affordability crisis going on, especially for people in like my age range. Like I'm 25, like I turned 26 this year, but it's like I'm still at a point where I haven't bought my first home yet. I would like to get more into real estate. That's part of the reason I've really gotten into crypto years ago, and I feel like that's for a lot of people that are in this sort of space that follow these sort of things. That's usually the mindset many of us are in, where we're thinking about like long-term investing. But that to me, this is all pointing towards just like things going in a very bad direction. But I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on this, and where do you live? And wherever you live, are you experiencing that same sort of thing where you're being priced out of whatever city you're in? Because it feels like it almost doesn't even matter where you go. Like a lot of people are out here dealing with pretty much the same thing. Okay, so the next story I want to get into is the Fed raising interest rate, or may raise interest rates again. This is a story. This is a post from Nick Tamiros. I'm sorry, I butchered his name, but it says Fed officials signaled they are likely to raise interest rates by 0.75 point for the second straight meeting. Policymakers left the door open to a larger 1 point increase, but some of them simultaneously poured cold water on the idea. That's something I'm not really that surprised with. I could have sworn I saw a report earlier this year saying that the Fed was anticipating raising interest rates like 7 times before the year's over. So again, they're trying to combat the problem they created without actually fixing it or even taking really much accountability. I don't think really this is gonna end very well, but I might be just stating the obvious. Obviously, next story I want to get into is from the former president of Hedera, Tom Trowbridge, where he's actually calling out the Ethereum monopoly. And this is actually a video clip that I actually want to play because I think he broke it down very simply and very efficiently. So I'm just gonna play it right now.
The framework that I'm kind of talking to is when you raise money either by selling tokens or by selling a SAFT, which is a simple agreement for future token, you are clearly raising money as a security. The question is there a point at which that can be deemed a utility down the road? And is there a path to do that? And right now, Ethereum, as an example, is deemed a utility. If there isn't a path to do that, then effectively Ethereum has a monopoly on being a utility token. And I don't think that is what is intended or serves the best interest of the world at large or the community for sure.
Yeah, so like he's a lot of these crypto companies, a lot of these people are seeing like the you can't even call it a conspiracy. They're seeing, well, I mean you can call it a conspiracy, but they're seeing like the game that's being played right in front of their very eyes, where the Hinman speech clearly was set up to give ETH an advantage, and a lot of other companies have been have suffered because of that. Well, not too much, but they've suffered to a degree because of that. Even I have this quote here from like the post. It was tagged from Digital Asset Investor, where he says the Hinman speech was for the purpose of creating a monopoly for Ethereum and the disguised whales who own most of it. And I definitely think that's something to take note of, because I don't know how much longer that's gonna last, but it's very interesting to think about like how, because again, like to me this is like gonna be something that's gonna be in a movie one day. Like it's sad to say, because a lot of this stuff like it's screwed over investors, but it's still fascinating. Just like The Big Short, like in the movie The Big Short, so many people who own houses who had adjustable rate mortgages at that time, they got screwed over. But at the same time, watching it in hindsight, it's still fascinating. But anyway, I want to get into the next story here. It's posted by somebody. I believe their name is Wheezy X something, but their at name is at Nerd Nation Unbox. It says former SEC Commissioner John Reed Stark, and is quoting them. The SEC is 94-0. They're winning all these cases. Now that is misleading information. Again, I just did a video yesterday where I compared the SEC to the Fed, where a lot of people talk about the fact that the Fed has like a 97% conviction rate, which is true, but a big part of that is because a lot of people they just end up a lot of people they end up not trying to take it to they end up not taking it to trial in the first place. So a lot of people end up like settling or just pleading guilty, and it never goes to trial in the first place. So but that doesn't mean that everybody's gonna lose, and that doesn't mean that they have a right to go around and just bullying people into giving them whatever they want. Specifically when it comes to the SEC, like they're really trying to, instead of actually working on regulation that actually could help crypto and help help encourage innovation in our country, they're more focusing on like everybody says like enforcement by bullying, like because they're just focusing on suing this group, this project, and just squeezing money out of people. And I want to play this clip real quick from this very arrogant former SEC commissioner. I'm just going to play it real quick.
I think the last time Cornerstone did a report this year, and I think they said the SEC was 94-0. And it's because these cases are like shooting fish in a barrel. Okay, the SEC hasn't lost a single one of them on any matter. I mean, occasionally maybe there's a motion where they don't get everything they want, like the recent Ripple motion kept the defense of fair notice alive, and the SEC wanted to quash the defense before there was even any consideration of it, which, I'm not surprised they lost that, but I don't have any faith in that defense in any way. I think
so. Yeah, like he's speaking as if it's just in the bag and they got this Ripple case on lock. Listen, he's in for a rude awakening. Because there's no way, assuming Judge Netburn, assuming she actually has any sense, which so far it seemed like she does, there is no way on earth she's just gonna that the SEC stands any chance of winning this case. They would literally need to pray for a settlement. They can't win this case. They vote like things like there's too much information stacked against them. There's too much things that that make them look too bad. Like they're refusing to turn over the emails that because they know that in those emails it'll make it abundantly clear that Hinman's speech was meant to be viewed as the view of the SEC, and it was meant to give Ethereum it was meant to give them an advantage, and it was meant to make things very vague and murky for all these other projects so they could go around and just squeezing money out of people. This is no different than the mafia. It's no different. Like when you see these mafia movies from like the 80s or whatever, where they would go to local businesses and harass the business owners by saying, hey, if you don't, give us what we want, we're gonna cause problems for you, and like just forcing them, just extortion. Like you're just forcing them to give you money, and because you're threatening that to do something bad to them or threatening to sabotage their business, which just the threat alone in many cases could already sabotage their business. But I don't know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on all this. So the next story I want to get into, Crypto Crusader at Ncash Official. And I want to end on a positive note. That's why. So this post right here, it says the future is bright for XRP. XLS20 to go live, which XLS20 that's supposed to be like I believe NFTs that's going to be launching on XRP, which if I'm not mistaken, the Bearable Bull, he's supposed to be doing an interview in the near future with the people tied to that, because I think this is Xpunks. I'm not 100% sure, but I know he's supposed to be doing an interview coming up with some people tied to a NFT project that's going to be on XRP. But then also the Flare launch, Ripple Liquidity Hub, which is an exchange that they're going to want to launch to compete with all the other exchanges, which I think it'll dominate when it comes out. The XRP case win, which many of us believe is just inevitable at this point. ISO 20022 launches, possible utility depegging, global ODL expansions, US-based corridors launch, mass exchange listings, Ripple and the Ripple IPO. This is why I'm so bullish on XRP. And of course I agree, because I feel like when it comes to people who are invested in XRP, I feel like we've experienced like the most gaslighting out of almost any other coin. But yeah, in the long term, I think we're gonna be proven right. So we'll see. This next post here is from XRP Crow, and it's just quoting a Brad Garlinghouse quote from a Brad Garlinghouse statement from a few weeks ago or a few days ago or something, where it says, and quote, "We'll hire over 300 people this year. Well over half of those will be non-US based." So yeah, to me, when I hear that, that does sound like Ripple is still keeping the possibility open in their heads that they may have to relocate out of America. Because again, outside of America, this problem that the SEC is giving them, no other country is giving them. No other agency in these other countries are giving them. So they easily could just go to another country and still prosper. But yeah, still, they're hiring in a time where all these other crypto companies that are allegedly, having liquidity crises, whatever, like in a time where they're firing people at a rapid rate, and Ripple is really out here just, hiring 300 plus people, or at least 300 people. So I think that's very exciting if you're an investor. Last story I'm going to end this video on is something I kind of touched on yesterday. I want to just get back on it again today. That yes, officially now, Jed McCaleb's taco stand wallet is now empty, or it's kind of empty. It has like 47 left. People keep sending him small amounts to like in the description of the transaction, just promoting random coins or things that they're doing. Many of them are probably scams, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. But the bigger point to the story is, at least the public wallet that everybody knows Jed has, it's no longer filled with billions and billions of XRP. It's now decreased significantly. So that to me is very, very exciting and encouraging. But again, we'll see. Because I doubt he probably got rid of all of it. He probably sent it to a different wallet or just bought it from a private wallet that nobody knows about. But I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on all this in the comment section. Make sure you guys like and subscribe.